But we start our coverage with the ongoing war about a deadly crash in the skies in western Iraq. The crash involved a KC-135 military refueling plane. We know 6 U.S. service members were killed in that crash. U.S. officials told CBS News they believe the incident may have involved a mid-air collision. And earlier today, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff spoke about the deadly crash during a Pentagon briefing.
The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again was not the result, as CENTCOM has said, was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered, and the Air Force and U.S. Central Command will provide updates as information becomes available.
Now, this crash brings the total U.S. service members killed since the start of the war with Iran to 11. In that same news conference, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said this day of the war would be the highest volume yet of U.S. strikes on Iran. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson was at that Pentagon briefing. Ellie, what is the latest on this deadly crash of the KC-135?
The latest is that the military has now confirmed that all 6 service members aboard that tanker have died. That update came within the last hour after the press conference this morning. All 6 were aboard a KC-135. That's a refueling tanker that can refuel fighter jets, bombers, and other tankers. The incident occurred over western Iraq, but the military says it was not due to hostile or friendly fire and involved a second aircraft, another KC-135, that landed safely. Officials tell CBS that the cause of the incident may have been a mid-air collision, but the incident is still under investigation. Both Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, and Secretary Hegseth offered their condolences to the families of the service members this morning during the briefing. Kane was asked how many service members overall have been injured, and while he didn't give a specific number since the start of Operation Epic Fury, he did say there have been injuries from attacks in Kuwait, where we saw 6 U.S. service members killed, an attack in Saudi Arabia, where we saw another U.S. service member killed, and then also in Jordan. He said most of those attacks were carried out by one-way attack drones. He did say the vast majority of the injured have returned to duty, and he said before, though, that they do expect to see additional casualties, which can include wounded, as this conflict goes on.
Okay, Ellie, one of the major pain points of this war is the Strait of Hormuz because oil tankers can't get through safely. What's the Pentagon strategy for the Strait since Iran attacked ships there?
The Strait of Hormuz was a big topic of the press briefing this morning because Secretary Hegseth started in his opening remarks by mentioning the message from the new Supreme Leader yesterday. Secretary Hegseth said that the new Supreme Leader is injured and maybe disfigured, which was a little bit of news to us. And Secretary Hegseth said that in that message, Iran threatened to attack the Strait of Hormuz. Both Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kane said that's not surprising, that the Strait of Hormuz is a leverage point for Iran, but the military is working on disabling the missiles, the drones, and the mine laying vessels that could pose dangers in the Strait. Earlier this week, when Chairman Kane was asked if the U.S. Navy would start escorting tankers, he said that they need to, if tasked, set the military conditions to make that happen. And what that means is they want to make it less dangerous for any U.S. Navy warships to go through the Strait. And that means targeting the missile production factories, targeting the mine laying storage facilities. We're seeing that now. The indication we got yesterday from Energy Secretary Chris Wright is that that may take until the end of the month to set those conditions and start seeing more traffic go through the Strait. Chairman Kane said there is some traffic, but it's diminished. And since the start of the conflict, a British maritime security firm says they've had reports of 16 attacks.
All right, Eleanor Watson, thank you so much for your reporting.